Alrighty, the NFL season is about, I'd say, 3.5 months away. We've been through the free agency period. We've been through the draft. There's going to be some late season trades that change up some stuff a little bit, but wanted to go over the win predictions for every team that we have in the NFL, all 32 teams, and want to get it started right away with the Arizona Cardinals. This is a team where I think they did pretty good in the draft. I think they helped themselves. I liked the Michigan corner pick that they got. He slid very far. But if you look at it, you have Marvin Harrison Jr. year two. You have a guy like Kyler Murray that needs to be better than he was last year. I think it's a make or break year for Kyler Murray. I think a lot's going to be left on the line there. So I predict they win 8 games. I think that they'll be pushing for a playoff spot, pushing for that division for a little bit, but I just think it's too top heavy in that division. I don't think they're going to be able to stand a chance late. I'll have them winning a respectable 8 games. Next up, you have the Atlanta Falcons, and you have kind of a mystery with Michael Penix Jr. How good is he going to be? They loaded up on defense in this draft. They got 2 defenders in the first round. Going to be interesting to see kind of what they end up doing all together. But I think I'm going to put them at 9 games. I believe that the division that they have is pretty weak. It's the weakest division in football, so I think you're going to get some wins from that. But just don't know if it'll be enough at the end of the day. Next up, Carolina from the same division. You have Bryce Young. They got him. T-Mac, the wide receiver. You have a few more young pieces coming in. I just don't know how much of a believer I am in Bryce Young. I will say that my opinion has changed a little bit from him being a complete bust. I think that given his work ethic and given what he's shown that he can do, I think he's got a shot, but I'll put them at 7 wins this year. Really weak division. I just don't see. I can't believe in Bryce Young and commit to him enough to go more than 7. Next up, the Chicago Bears, and I think that with Ben Johnson, the newly acquired head coach, they're becoming an offensive team. I think they've made all the right decisions. They've put Caleb Williams in a really, really solid spot at this point. You've put him in a position where he's going to have the best shot to succeed. You have premier receiver DJ Moore, Roma Dunze still there. They got the tight end. They got a lot better on O-line. I think that Ben Johnson, he's a culture builder. He knows how to get that offense going. And not to mention, they had a really, really solid defense last year, one of the better in the NFL. So I'm going to put them at 10 wins. I think it's a team that will be in the playoffs and will be a team that has one of the better turnarounds from last year. Next up, the Cowboys. Just don't see it with them. I did hear that they might potentially be about to land George Pickens. It's a big land, but at the end of the day, doesn't change the limitations that they have. And I thought they had a really good draft. I liked the Tyler Booker pick. Thought it was a pick that Jerry Jones does not usually make, and he was able to make a good pick. Looks like a foundational guy that's going to come in and be a leader. I'm putting him at 5 games. Just don't see a lot of talent on this roster. Looks like kind of a mess. Going to put him at 5 games. Next up, the Lions. They were riding high last year, got derailed by injury. Still think they're a really good team, but you do have to factor lost their OC, lost their DC. That's going to cause some turnover. There's going to be issues with that, but this roster's too talented, in my opinion, to miss the postseason next year. I'm going to slot them at 11 wins. Think they have a really good shot at competing next year. Going on to the Green Bay Packers, a team that, for the first time in, I believe, over 20 years, drafted a wide receiver in the first round. Really, really big for them. You have Jordan Love continuing to develop. I think think health definitely plays a factor this year for them. They need to stay more healthy. I'm going to put them at 10 wins right now. And I'm going to have a few amendments on this list. I'll do one a week before the season starts. But as of right now, I'm putting them at 10 wins. The Rams, in my opinion, have continued to get better. The Devontae Adams move works there due to culture, due to the head coach, due to Matt Stafford. There's reasons why the Rams' destination works for Devontae Adams. You have other guys. Puka Nacua, I think, is the top 5 wide receiver in this NFL. When he's healthy, the guy balls, the guy performs. They have running backs. They have talent. Matt Stafford's still a really good quarterback. I think they win 12 games this year. If you forget that last year they were arguably a play away from beating the Eagles, and the Eagles killed everybody in the playoffs last year, not the Rams. I'm going to put them at 12 wins. Next up, you go to the New Orleans Saints. Don't see a lot from them. I think they're more of a next year team. Debatably, this could be the team that has the worst season in the NFL, hands down. I do believe that. I will put them and slot them at 6 wins. It is a really weak division, so I'll give them that, and I'll say they win 6 games. Next up, the Giants. I like what they did in the draft, getting Abdul Carter. Don't love the Jackson Dart pick. Don't think he's a very good future NFL quarterback. I think they win 7 games this year. And I do believe that this is the writing on the wall for Joe Shane, the GM, and Brian Dable, the head coach. Just don't think they're going to have enough guns. I like the Malik Neighbors pick that they had last year. I thought that he really developed well. But don't believe in Jackson Dart. Don't believe in Russell Wilson anymore. I like Abdul Carter, but how much of an impact can he have for the entire base of that team? Moving forward, we have the Philadelphia Eagles riding high after their Super Bowl title that they had, and I think a lot of people are putting them in that 13 to 14 win range. I think you got to look at it as this team could come a little bit more down to earth. Nothing that happened to them in the offseason would necessarily point to that, but they did have a few losses, although minor, could stack up. But I still think it's a really competitive team, a team that probably should be favored to win the Super Bowl next year, just due to the influx of young talent and a lot of people on the offensive end still being in their prime. Will Saquon Barkley be able to repeat what he did last year? That is going to be an interesting storyline. I have them at 12 wins. I think they'll win 12 games this year, should win the division or come really close to it. I think Washington's going to be really good this year, though, and that's going to be a team that they need to compete with. Moving on, we have the 49ers, and I just think this is a team that's getting old. They have confusion at quarterback. Brock Purdy, they obviously don't want to pay him like a top 10 quarterback. I completely understand it. When you all of a sudden, when you start paying him $50+ million a year, you run into not being able to build a good roster around him, and that would be an issue. They have a lot of aging superstars. Didn't necessarily love their draft. So I have them at 9 wins. Could they win 10? Could they win 11? I'm going to have to see some more. Lost Deebo Samuel. I have them at 9 right now. We'll see. We'll see what they're able to do. But as of right now, 9 wins for the 49ers. Moving forward, we have the Seahawks. I'm putting them at a comfortable 10 wins, an improvement. And a lot of that is due to they got Sam Darnold. I thought they had a really good draft. And I like the direction that program's in. Have a lot of really, really solid young defensive tone setters on that team. So I think Seattle wins 10 games. I thought Darnold had a really good year last year, and I think he'll be able to continue that. Moving forward, we have the Washington Commanders, and I have them winning 13 games this year. And the reason for that is I think A lot of people are going to point to Jaden Daniels potentially having a sophomore slump. I don't think he will. I think they've gotten better. I think they've filled out this roster to support Jaden Daniels even more. They got him an O-lineman. They got him Deebo Samuel. I think this roster's ready to roll at this point. I think they've put him in a position where they're going to have guys on guys, and it's just going to be an environment where they're going to have a shot here to go for the Super Bowl. Obviously, got to consider flip-flopping him with the Eagles. Don't really know yet. Two really solid teams in the same division, so it runs into issue. But I just think with what they were able to do in the offseason, Jaden Daniels potentially getting better, I have them at 13 wins. Moving on to the Bengals, and this is a team that last year got off to an horrendous start, and I still think that they'll start off slow, but I don't think they'll start off nearly as slow as they did last year. I think last year was an absolute disaster. They started off as bad as possible, and then they started towards the end of the year, they started to gain all that momentum and get it going. I will say it's good that they brought back a lot of their guys. I thought they had a good defensive heavy draft, and I think they're a team that will make the playoffs this year. I have them at 11 wins. Think that they improve. Believe they won 9 last year, but I think they improved by 2 games. I think early in the season, you see a lot more improvement from Burrow. And they have Joe Burrow. I mean, he's able to make a lot of plays from Mark Chase. They'll be good. Next up, we have the Cleveland Browns. Clearly a team that is a year away, a team that could benefit a lot from just developing players, getting in position. The roster's not terrible. They did bring back Myles Garrett. Obviously, you have Mason Graham, the guy they drafted. But you look at it going into next year, they have 2 first-round picks. They're saying they want to get a QB next year. They do have Shedeur Sanders. I think Shedeur Sanders starts above 6 games this year. That would be my prediction, but I think Joe Flacco's the guy to start the season. They have a lack of wide receiver depth. They got better running back in the draft, obviously. They're a year away. I'm going to give them 7 wins because I think that the roster is pretty filled out, but it could get ugly for them. But they do have talented players at important positions. They just don't have the guy quarterback and wide receiver depth at the moment. Next up, we go to the Denver Broncos, and this is a team that is just in a really tough division, in my opinion. It's really tough for them because that division, probably the best division in football right now. You have teams that are just getting better around them. Sean Payton, Bo Nix did a really good job last year. I think they come down to earth a little bit. I think that they win 9 games next year. Still think they're in the playoff chase the entire year. I just believe that with what their schedule is going to be and with the opponents that they have to play just within the division, it's going to be tough for them. Next on, going to the Texans, you have C.J. Stroud there. And in a year where they were really derailed by injuries for a lot of it, last year they still made the playoffs, won a playoff game. The division's weak, even with Cam Ward joining it, even with the Jags getting better offensive pieces. It's still a weak division. So I'm going to say the Texans, they take 10 games, win that division. I think that there's going to be a race there, but I think I'm going to take the C.J. Stroud and the Texans, give them 10 wins on the year. Moving on to the Colts, I got them slotted at 8 right now. I just think that they don't really know what they're doing at quarterback. You have Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson, don't really know what direction to go with it. I did like their draft. I thought they had some good picks there. They got better at tight end. They have Pittman, who is a solid receiver. I just don't see, with the quarterbacks that they have in the room, them being able to get over the hurdle. I have them at 8 wins right now. Moving on to the Jags, and I was tempted to put the Jags up on wins because of the Travis Hunter addition. If you look at it, they have a pretty solid offensive core now. You have Trevor Lawrence at quarterback, who, when he's healthy, has won a playoff game before. Brian Thomas Jr. had a phenomenal season last year. Travis Etienne, now Travis Hunter. If you look at their defense is improving a little bit. I'm just worried about their health. It seems like they can't stay healthy. That's why I'm going to put them at 7 wins. I think that you could put them higher. They're even a dark horse to win that division. Best bet for me, though, I'd put them at 7-10 on the year. Moving on to the Kansas City Chiefs, defending AFC champs. And a lot of people are saying they're going to regress a lot. I don't think they're going to regress as much as you think. They did lose Joe Thuney, but other than that, they had a really strong year last year. If Worthy's able to play this year, then you have some weapons, some pieces coming back for them. Obviously, they have Patrick Mahomes. They had a lot of close games last year. I still think they win 12 games. Too talented of a team to lose much more than that. You could maybe put them at 10, and that's the popular bet for them right now. But I'll put the Kansas City Chiefs at 12 wins on the year. Moving forward, we have the Chargers, and I think the Chargers also, as well as the Chiefs, win 12 games. Jim Harbaugh, historically, in year 2 of programs, has been really good for his teams. And if you look at it, I loved the running back addition they got with Omarion Hampton, Justin Herbert continuing. And Harbaugh, he's building a culture there. He's getting them in a better position, making them a better team. I really like the direction that they're in. I'll get them at 12 wins. Moving on, you have Miami. I think Miami takes a big dip. Don't really know what's going on with that Tyreek Hill situation. Don't know where he's going to be. Don't know if he's going to be ready to get ramped up and play with them this year. Looks like there's a bit of a beef there. Tua is a very inconsistent quarterback. He's been injured with a concussion nearly every year. Does it happen again? We will see. But I think they have limitations. I think their running backs are small, not very durable. Their defense has a lot of holes. I have them at 6 wins. I think they take a major dip. I just don't see it this year with them. I think that they had a good approach going, but they realized that approach didn't tailor well to cold weather. And unfortunately, if not for them, though, the cold weather is where you win the big games. That's where you win the AFC championships, and that's where you win the Super Bowls. So they weren't able to get that done. Next on, I have the biggest turnaround in the Patriots. Mike Vrabel's in there. He's building a new culture. I like the alignment that they got. They improved at receiver by getting Stephon Diggs. Don't know how much of a factor he'll play. Then you have Drake May, and they were really starting to turn it on towards the end of the year. They're essentially going from having the worst coach in the NFL to one of the best. And I think it's going to pay dividends for them. And I think the Patriots are going to win 10 games this year and be a playoff team. I do. I think they have the balls in their court to have a really solid year. I'll put them at 10. Moving on to the New York Jets. And the Jets, very interesting team. You have Justin Fields there, Garrett Wilson. The defense has always kind of been strong there for the past couple of years. You have a new head coach, new regime there. And I think the season's really going to come down to how Justin Fields plays. If he's able to play out of his mind, they could win 10 games. It's not crazy. If he plays terrible, they could win 3 games. I wouldn't be surprised either. I'm going to put him at 6 for right now. I might put that up. From what we've seen in the past with Justin Fields, there's not a lot to say that he's going to go out there and he's going to ball and he's going to get them to the playoffs. So I haven't seen enough yet. I'm going to put them at 6, right in between that, close to right in between that 3 and 10. Next up, the Tennessee Titans. Obviously, they have Cam Ward, and this was a team that was in a lot of games last year. You could just tell they were missing a quarterback. Will Levis was so bad for them last year that they just weren't able to get anything done. You look at Cam Ward, he's going to give them a lot more wins. I think they win 9 games. I think they're competing for that division title the entire year. I think Houston edges them out due to experience. But there's a lot of pieces on this Tennessee team. and I think Cam Ward's going to help them open it up. Next up, the Bills. I think the Bills win 11 games this year. Bit of a downtrot from what they had last year. You have Josh Allen there. You have guys on that defense. They improved. Really good tight ends there. They should be fine this year. I don't know what the conversation is going to be when we talk postseason, but I'll put them at 11 wins right now with Josh Allen, and I think it's a big year for the Bills. I think it's potentially a must-win the AFC for the Bills this year without substantial changes at head coach having to happen. Next up, you have the Las Vegas Raiders. I think they're a very improved team this year. If you look at it, they got 2 solid tight ends. They've really upgraded at quarterback with Geno Smith, who's a lot better than their previous situations. Obviously, Ashton Genty, who is built for the NFL, going to stand out right now type of player. Their defense could use some work, but you do have Max Crosby on the outside. So it's a team that can definitely compete. I have them at eight wins this year. It's a tough division. I think if you put this team in a weaker division, they could win it, but I see a lot of improvement for Las Vegas this year. Moving on, you have the Steelers. This is a weird team. I'm going to put them at 9 wins because obviously however many years in a row they've had winning seasons, I believe every year under Tomlin since around 2007 or whenever he took the helm. So it's something that I'm not going to bet against this year. I really wanted to. They just traded Pickens. Their quarterback options at this point, this is what you got. You either have Will Howard, the rookie, Mason Rudolph, the known backup, or Aaron Rodgers, the old guy. Those are your options at quarterback right now for the Steelers. It is not good there. They don't have the most wide receiver depth, although I actually like the Pickens move. That locker room would have been a mess with him and DK. So I like that move. But other than that, they have a really good defense, but offensively you could be looking at a mess. I'll put them at 9. Don't want to go against history, but if there's a year they're going to go under 9 games, you bet your bottom dollar this is the year. Next up, you have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Baker. I have them at 11 wins, have them winning their division pretty comfortably. Baker had a really good year last year. I love the draft pick of Emeka Egbuka. I think you still have Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. Defense is pretty solid. I like the Bucs to win 11 games. Moving on to the Ravens, seem like always just a good regular season team. Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry should be able to produce power. Love what they did at safety in the draft. Got another guy that is going to help them win now. And I like them to win 12 games and potentially win the AFC North. A really solid team. Then lastly, we go to the Minnesota Vikings. Kind of a weird team where I think they're going to regress. I just don't think that Sam Darnold, what I will say is Sam Darnold was very tailored to that offense that they had, and he was able to put things in the right place. We don't know what J.J. McCarthy is. We haven't seen any real game footage of him. Seen a little bit of preseason football. We don't know what he is. Let's be honest with it. We don't, and that's why I'm putting them at 9 games. I'll put them over 500 barely. I think they're going to regress this year. Just have a feeling, have a lot of weapons, but is J.J. McCarthy going to be able to properly get the ball to them the way that they need to? We shall see. But that's going to wrap it up. Let me know in the comments how many wins you think your team is going to grasp this season.